Hello guys, welcome to another Jira administration tutorial from rcvacademy.com. In this tutorial, we are going to see more details around Crowd and Jira, Atlassian Jira integration, and how you can configure or how you can change the settings to read only or read and write in the users and groups within Jira, and see what are the differences between those two configurations, because that's pretty much important to understand when you are doing any external LDAP configuration, and understand what are the differences between read and write, and what those settings might do to your LDAP server in your enterprise. So to get started, let's go to the user management first. So I've gone to the cogwheel and selected user management. I'll provide my administrator password and click on confirm. I'll just remove this. So here you can see that after the configuration or after the integration with the Crowd server, we are seeing that there is an external directory and there is Jira internal directory. So there are some users which are in the Jira application at the moment, and then we have integrated Crowd with this Jira instance as well, and there are some users which are coming from the Crowd server, like LXB or Jaguian is coming from the Crowd user, and then M Patel and M Kumar are also coming from the Crowd user. And here you can see that the login details, the users have never logged in. Now we'll go into more details around the users and groups section, but before that, let's see. So at the moment you can see if I edit the details of this Atlassian Crowd server configuration, you can see the current Crowd permissions are read-only, which means users, groups and memberships are retrieved from the Crowd server and cannot be modified in Jira. And if you change it to read-write, these memberships and groups can be modified within Jira, and these details will be reflected back in Atlassian Crowd as well. So if we change it to read-write, we'll see the differences. So at the moment, let's keep it as read only, and I'll show you what it looks like in the user. So at the moment, you can see in the actions, for any of the internal Jira directory users, you can see you can edit the details, right? So edit option is available at the moment. But for the users which are coming from the Crowd server or external directory, you do not have any edit options. You can just see the project roles or view project roles for those users. So because there are no project roles assigned, it gives you that message for the external users. So basically you can't, if it is read-only configuration, you can't edit any of the details for the users which are coming from external directory. If you change it to read-write, then you will be able to edit these details within Jira, and these details will reflect back into the Crowd instance. So let's change it to read-write and see what impact happens. So I'll change it to read-write and then test settings. So connection test is successful, and click on save and test, right? So I have changed the configuration to read-write now. And now if I come back to users again, now you can see the edit option is visible for all the users here. It doesn't matter whether it's coming from the internal Jira internal directory or it's coming from the external Crowd server or external LDAP, right? So I can still go back and edit the user here, and I can say change the full name, or I can change the email from here, enable or disable or activate or deactivate the user, and then update. Okay, so now I have changed the name of Alex and email of Alex as well. And going back to Crowd now, if you go back to the users in Crowd, you can see the name has been changed to BB, and the email, there is an extra B here appended in crowd as well. So that's the difference between read-only and read-write mode when you do this integration, and it's pretty important to understand as an administrator why you most of the time in the organizations the user and group management is the sole responsibility or the single source of truth are the LDAP server for users and groups and not any other application. So as far as you have LDAP instance in your organization and in your corporate, LDAP server will be single source of truth for your users and roles, and that is why the recommendation is to have the read-only configuration for this crowd configuration or the external LDAP server configuration when you are integrating with Jira. However, if there is a requirement that you are going to manage all your Jira users and within the Jira instance, then you can have that as read-write as well. So it depends, like what sort of configuration and what is the requirement within the organization. You can configure those details accordingly. The other option is once you enable the read-write mode, you can edit the user group, you can see the project role, and you can also delete users from Jira itself. So you have the option to delete user from here, and the user will get deleted as well. Also, you can create user within Jira. So I'll just create some user. I'll say bcamp as the new user, and I'll say bcamp as the full name. And here you have option now to choose Jira internal directory or the crowd server or the external directory, right? So you can choose where this user will be located. So you can choose the external directory and you can set the password, and then you can also provide the application access. I'll disable the access at the moment, and if you want, you can send the notification email to this user, and the user will be notified via the email. So if you create this user will be added here. So now this directory is the external directory, and if you go back to crowd and see the users, you will see bcamp has been added here. Similarly, if you add a new user here, right, so it will flow back to the Jira instance as well. And adding user here, it will flow back in all the cases, whether it's read only or read write. The only difference between read only and read write is if you select read write, there will be the changes made within Jira instance will be flown back to the crowd. So that's pretty much all about different configuration or the user directory configuration within Jira application. In the next tutorial, we'll see more around the user management and the application access for the Jira users. Thank you very much for watching.